back to my channel and welcome to today's video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about all of the June releases that I am excited to read. So as with all of my new release videos, some of these I will know more about than others, and obviously I won't necessarily get to all of these in June, but they are ones that are on my radar and ones that I am definitely excited to pick up at some point. So I've got my list here. I'm actually at the end of this notebook, so I'm going to need to get a new one. But I've got a list here and it is a long list this month. There is a lot of new releases coming out that I'm definitely excited for, and I do actually already have quite a few pre-orders for this month. So yes, without further ado, I'm going to dive straight into the books. So first book that I have on this list is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one is one that I'm very highly anticipating. Taylor Jenkins Reid, I would say, is one of my favourite authors. I have read everything in her backlist, so I am completely up to date with all of her books and I cannot wait for this one. I have my eye on the Works special edition that they have, because that has a reversible dust jacket, which I definitely I prefer the reversible dust jacket to the original cover that we've got here in the UK. So I am waiting for that to come into stores. They have it available online, but I would be doing click and collect anyway, so I would prefer for it just to come into store so I can purchase it. So I'm really hoping that this week it's in store so I can pick it up, but cannot wait to read that one. Then we have Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. So this one is Lisa Jewell's newest book. She writes mystery thriller books. I don't know anything about this one, and with all mystery thriller books I tend not to know too much going into them. That's how I deliberately choose to be, because I don't want to get spoiled for anything, because sometimes the synopsis can give a bit too much information. This one I have on hold from the library, so I will be reading it once my hold comes in. Then we have Caught Up by Nevessa Allen, and this one I'm really excited for, and I do have a pre-order for this one. So this one is the sequel to Lights Out. It's going to be following a different couple. I don't know too much about the plot, but Lights Out was a really fun read. It was a stalker romance, but it had definitely comedic elements to it. I feel like it was doing what Butcher and Blackbird was trying to do, but I felt like I liked Nevessa Allen's writing more than Bryn Weaver's. But if you are looking for that kind of dark story that has also some funny elements to it and almost lightheartedness, I would definitely recommend checking out this series. If you like Butcher and Blackbird, I think you would like the Lights Out series, and yeah, the Butcher and Blackbird series wasn't my favourite thing, but I did really enjoy this one, so cannot wait for that. Then we have Death Row by Frida McFadden. This is a short story that Frida McFadden has written. There is a collection on Amazon which is going to be on Kindle Unlimited with the read and listen function, and this is a collection of short stories from a bunch of different mystery thriller authors. I do have a couple more on my list at some point as well. This is very similar to the collections that they've done with romance authors, where they write a short story based on a particular theme or topic. So we've had ones that have been like centered around Christmas and Valentine's Day. I'm not sure what the theme is for this collection, but I'm definitely excited to check that one out. Then we have The Listeners by Maggie Stiefvater. This one I am not, I'm hesitantly interested in this one. So The Raven Boys was a really popular YA series back in the day, and I only ever read the first book. I didn't really love the first book, but I did read the Shiver series. I don't know if that was the name of the series, but book one was called Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater, which was like a werewolf romance series, and I did really like that one, but I didn't like The Raven Boys. So I haven't read anything from her for a really long time. I don't think she's had anything released for quite a while, and this I believe is her adult debut. I think it is just a fantasy, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know too much about it, but I'm intrigued by it. The cover looks quite interesting as well. So this one is available at my library, so I will be checking it out from the library at some point. Then we have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I don't know too much about this one, but I have really enjoyed Ashley Poston's books in the past, with the exception of the 7-Year Slip. I didn't really enjoy that one, but all of her other ones I've really enjoyed, so I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Then we have Slow Burn Summer by Josie Silver. I don't know too much about this one, but I like the look of the cover. I've read from Josie Silver in the past, and again, my library has a copy of this one, so I will be checking that out as well at some point. Then we have Worth Fighting For by Jessie Q. Satano. So I really love Jessie Q. Satano's writing. I find that I have a lot of fun whenever I read her books. So she has written the Dial A for Aunties series and the Vera Wong series, which I really enjoy. And she's also written some mystery thrillers, and I've enjoyed those as well. As I say, she has a really great way of kind of combining humour into her writing, which I really love. This is part of the, I think it's called the Meant to Be series, and is basically retellings of different Disney stories and fairy tales. So the last one that came out in this series was done by Christina Lauren, and that was a Tangled retelling, or Rapunzel retelling, and this one is going to be a Mulan retelling, so I'm definitely interested to check this one out. These are, I think they're usually young adult books, but I always have a good time reading them, so looking forward to checking that one out. Then we have Someone Knows by V. Keeland. This is a mystery from V. Keeland. She's written mysteries before. I haven't actually had a chance to check them out, but I'm definitely intrigued to see what's happening with that one. Then we have Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. I really enjoy Megan Quinn's writing. Again, she's another author that really combines comedy with her writing, or the ones that I've read usually have some sort of funny moments in them, and I really enjoy her writing. I think her books are a lot of fun, and I'm definitely interested to check this one out. The cover is also absolutely gorgeous, so cannot wait to get my hands on that one. Then we have The Lost Book of First Loves by Rayanne Thane. I have read Rayanne Thane for quite a while. She is definitely a almost like comfort author. When I started my journey into reading the romance genre, she was one of the authors that I kind of discovered as writing small town romances, and she's one that I do revisit from time to time. I don't necessarily love her books as much as when I first started reading into the genre, but she is still one that I do occasionally check out. Then we have Realm of Thieves by Karina Halley. So this one is going to be a fantasy romance. I don't know too much more than that, but I am intrigued by this one. I've read a couple of things from Karina Halley and have enjoyed her books in the past. Then we have Never Been Shipped by Alicia Thompson. So I've only actually read one book by Alicia Thompson, which was her debut book, and I really enjoyed that one. And ever since, I've had her other books on my TBR, I even have some on my Kindle. I've just never got around to reading them, but I love the covers that she has for her books. I really like the art style that's on the covers, so I've added that one based on the cover and that alone. Then we have When Javi Dumped Marie, or Mary, When Javi Dumped Mary, or Marie, I'm not sure, by Mia Sosa. So I've not read a Mia Sosa book for a really long time. I've read, what was her debut one? The Worst Best Man. I read that one and liked it at the time, and I've read her short story that she's got available on Audible, but I haven't read anything else from her, and I think it's been a while since she's published a book. I don't recall seeing anything from her for a while, so I'm intrigued to check this one out. I also really like the cover for this one. Then we have An Unexpected Everything by Carrie Ann Ryan. Carrie Ann Ryan has a book out like nearly every other month, and I always put her books on my list. I think this is book 2 in the Cage family series, maybe, don't quote me, but I love Carrie Ann Ryan's writing. I am very far behind on her book, so I'm definitely not going to be picking this one up anytime soon, but I do definitely want to get to this one at some point. I enjoy her writing, and she's definitely an author that I want to support. Then we have Ordinary Love by Marie Rutowski, and this one I don't know too much about what it is going to be about, but it's her debut adult book. I don't know if it's romance or just fiction. But Marie Rutowski, back in the day, wrote a lot of YA books. She wrote the Winner's Curse trilogy, I think it was called, and I really enjoyed that at the time, but I don't think she's released anything for a while, and as I say, I believe this is her first adult book, so I'm definitely interested to check that one out. I know my library's going to be getting this one in, so I'm definitely going to be picking it up at some point. Then we have The Love Fix by Jill Shalvis. I am undecided if I am going to be picking this one up or not, because the last couple of Jill Shalvis books I've picked up haven't really worked for me, but she's such a nostalgic author for me that I feel like drawn in to pick up her books, so we shall see if I do get that one or not. I know my library is going to be getting a copy of it, so if I do, I will be picking that up from there. Then we have Writing Mr. Wrong by Kelly Armstrong. So Kelly Armstrong started out writing paranormal romances. She wrote the Bitten series, or Bitten was the first book, sorry. I think the series is called Women of the Other World. And that was like a werewolf paranormal romance series, and there was other supernatural creatures as well, like witches and vampires, etc. But in the past couple of years, she's started to drift out into just contemporary romance, and her last one, I can't remember the name of that one, but I read that one last year, or maybe even the year before, I can't remember, and I liked that one, but I was not like blown away by it, so I'm interested to see how she does with this one. Then we have A Happy Marriage by A.R. Torr. A.R. Torr wrote the Girl in 6E series, which I read a few years ago and really enjoyed. I quite liked her writing style, so I'm interested to check this one out. This one's going to be available on Kindle Unlimited and is going to be some sort of mystery, so looking forward to checking that one out. Then we have Kill Creatures by Rory Power. So Rory Power writes young adult horror, and I can't remember, was it Wild Girls, I think was her debut book, which I really enjoyed. It was definitely I think one of the first horror books that I ever really read, and I'm definitely intrigued to see what she does with this one. I haven't read from her for a while. I don't think I read her last release, but interested to check that one out. Then we have A Touch of Fate by Cora Reilly. I really enjoy Cora Reilly's books. I have been making my way through her Mafia books. I don't know what series this comes under, if it's a standalone or if it's part of a series, or really what it's about, but I do want to check it out when it comes out. Then we have The Jackass in Class by Amy Awad. This is available on Kindle Unlimited, or is going to be available when it comes out. And I really enjoy her books. She writes, this series is a series of kind of sports romances, and I have really enjoyed what I've read previously in this series. I'm not up to date with the series, but I am looking forward to seeing what this one is about when it is released. Then we have The Ex-Wives Club by Sally Hepworth. This is going to be a short story that is available on Kindle Unlimited and is part of that short story collection that I mentioned that Frida McFadden is releasing in. So I don't know too much about this one either, but I'm interested to check this one out. I've read a few things from Sally Hepworth in the past and have really enjoyed them, so looking forward to diving into a short story from her. Then we have The Promised Queen by Kate Johnson, and this one I'm definitely interested in. So the previous books that this author has written has been, I don't know what the name of the series was, but the first book I think was called Hex Appeal, and then she's had Hex and Hexability and some other one that had like a, you know, funny punny title, and this one I think from looking at the cover is just going to be, instead of kind of a cozy fantasy romance, which her other ones were kind of witchy stories and they were like had cozy vibes in them, and one of them had kind of historical romance elements. This one I think is going to be a fantasy romance, like straight up fantasy romance, so I'm definitely interested to check this one out. I really like the cover for this one. And I think, I know my library's going to be having a copy, and when I had a look, I think this one is also going to be available on Kindle Unlimited as well, which is really cool, so definitely going to be checking that one out at some point. Then we have The Protege by Erica Ridley. I don't know too much about this one, but Erica Ridley is one of my favourite historical romance authors, so I always try and check out her books when I can. Then we have How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days by Sophie Irwin. This is going to be a historical romance book. I've read the previous books from this author and they have been okay, but I like to support historical romance books when they come out, so I will be checking out this one from the library. Then we have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I'm really looking forward to this one. I haven't read from V.E. Schwab in the past, but I believe this one is going to be a sapphic vampire book, which I love. So eagerly awaiting for that one to come out. I love a vampire book and I love sapphic romances, so cannot wait to check that one out. Then we have With a Vengeance by Reilly Sager. I've got this one on hold at my library. Cannot wait for this one to come in. I have read pretty much all of Reilly Sager's books, I think, apart from maybe one or two, like his two earliest books. But other than that, I've read all of his like newer stuff, and I really enjoy his writing. His books I can usually quite often read in like a day. He has a very addictive writing quality that kind of sucks you into the story, and I didn't necessarily love his last release, but I thought it was okay. Some of his books in the past I have given 5 stars, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking this one out. Then we have The Bachelorette Party by Camilla Sten, and this I believe is just going to be a mystery centering around a bachelorette party. I don't know too much about it. What drew me in was the cover, I'm not going to lie, so that's why this one is on that list. Then we have Gloves Off by Stephanie Archer. This is part of her sports romance series that she's writing. I haven't read the other books in the series, but I am interested in checking out this series, so I wanted to obviously mention this new release here. Then we have Battle of the Bookstores by Ali Brady, and I really like the look of this one. This is about 2 rival bookstore owners, and I assume it's going to be their romance. I think this might be a debut book, but I'm not 100% sure, but definitely looking forward to picking up that one at some point. Then we have Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell, and Rainbow Rowell was one of my favourite authors back in the day when I was reading young adult books. She wrote Fangirl, Carry On, Attachment, lots of other very popular books, but I've not read anything from her for a while, and I believe that this is going to be her debut adult book, so I'm really interested to see whether I enjoy it. Obviously it's nice to revisit an author that I've not read from for a really long time, and this book is currently on offer in the UK for 99p on the June monthly Kindle deals, so I have already snapped up a copy and I will be reading that at some point. Then we have A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poranek, I think. And this is a sapphic Swan Lake retelling, which I'm really intrigued by. I mentioned this, I don't know if this video won't have gone live yet, I don't think. I'm not sure what order I'm posting in, but I'm doing a video comparing UK to US covers, and that one is mentioned in there. Because I was kind of drawn in by the cover initially, and then I saw the tagline for it, so definitely looking forward to picking up that one. I'm umming and ahhing about pre-ordering the Waterstone special edition. I have it in my basket, but I haven't hit checkout yet, so we'll see whether I do end up ordering that. Then we have A Royal Mile by Samantha Young. This is the second book in her is it called On Love Rose Lane series that she's doing? It's like a spin-off of her original Dublin Street books. I have only read a couple of Samantha Young's books, and I haven't read the first one in this series, but I wanted to mention this one because I am intrigued to check it out. Then we have A Forgery of Fate by Elizabeth Lim. Elizabeth Lim writes fantasy books. I think they're fantasy with a little bit of romance in, and the covers of her books are absolutely stunning, so that's another reason why I've added that one on here. because the cover for this is gorgeous. Then we have Finders Keepers by Sarah Adler. I don't know too much about this one, but I like the look of the cover, I'm not gonna lie. Some of these last few ones on here are more like cover ones, but that one's on there. Then we have The Monster and the Last Blood Match by K.A. Lind. I think this one is a re-release of something that she previously had published under a slightly different title, but the cover drew me in for this one, so that's why that one's on the list. Then we have 7 Year Itch by Amy Dawes. This one, I purchased the first book in this series, which is called The 9-Month Contract, earlier in the year. Haven't got around to reading it yet, but I really like the covers for this series and wanted to mention that one here as well. Then we have Thus With a Kiss I Die by Christina Dodd. And Christina Dodd is an author that's been writing for quite a while. I have some of her historical romances, and this I think is a historical mystery, and it looks like it's a not retelling per se, but definitely draws inspiration on Romeo and Juliet. I believe the main character is a part of the of Juliet's family, like a made-up character that's part of Juliet's family, and she investigates mysteries, I think. That's what I got from the synopsis. I'm intrigued to see this. This is actually the second book in a series, which I didn't know about the first book, and I'm definitely intrigued to check this out because it looks very different from the books that I am familiar with Christina Dodd writing. Then the next two are actually, the last two on here are from authors that I've read from before. So It's Always the Husband by C.L. Taylor is a new mystery thriller from this author. She hasn't published anything in a year. I think last year she took like a year off. The only book that she had come out was a paperback release of her 2023 release. So I'm really excited to pick back up with this author. I've read pretty much all of her books. I think there is only one in her backlist that I've not read, which is her young adult book, which I think is called The Treatment. That's the only one I've not read. She's one of my favourite mystery thriller authors, so definitely interested to check out her most recent release. And then the last book on this list is Before Dorothy by Hazel Gaynor. So Hazel Gaynor writes historical fiction, and this one is also going to be historical fiction. It is going to be a story that follows Dorothy's aunt from The Wizard of Oz, and kind of what her life and story might look like. I think it follows Dorothy's aunt, like when Dorothy's aunt was younger, so before Dorothy came along, as the title suggests. And yeah, I'm interested to check this one out, and hopefully it will be a good time. So they are all of the books that are currently on my radar for June, and if you want to let me know what book you are particularly looking forward to in June, then please do, and I will see you guys in my next video.